Welcome back to Community Conversations. I'm your host, Steve Mantis, and I'm talking to local author and historian Elinor Barr. Welcome back, Elinor.
Thank you.
So we're just talking about the White Otter Castle, situated somewhere there between Atikokan and Ignis. And Elinor, so you've really looked at, you've got a personal connection. You talked about actually that your dad was the one who found the body after Jimmy died in 1919. Some of our local mythology is that Jimmy was building a castle for his sweetheart back in the old country. And is there any truth to that?
Well, in the first place, Jimmy was born in the Ottawa Valley.
Oh my gosh!
His parents were immigrants from Scotland who came to build the Ottawa Canal.
Oh, no kidding. And
Yeah.
that was quite a project back in the day, too.
They were stonemasons, but Jimmy obviously learned to build with wood.
And so when did he emigrate to our area?
He came about it was 1887. He came because there were homestead land opening up in the Rainy River Valley, and he settled near Emo along the river. He ended up owning 3 farms.
Okay.
And we have his sweetheart. We have a letter that we found from his neighbor, that he'd written to his neighbor who came from Southern Ontario. And he was asking the neighbor to find him a wife. It was very funny because he said, not with red hair. He had a specific idea on what kind of a wife he wanted. And actually, she said that he had to come down and meet her family. And he, for some reason, didn't do that. So his romance faded right there.
Okay, so there was a love interest, but it may not have been exactly as we've come to think of it.
There may have been others that I don't know about.
Indeed, indeed. So what was the transition from him leaving his farm in the Emo area that moved into the bush? What was he on about there?
He owned about 3 farms in Emo. It's very hard for a single man to run 1 farm, let alone 3. He needed a wife, and I would be surprised if he hadn't looked for one before he came to the castle. But he got very discouraged because the transportation to sell his farm goods was very poor. The railway wasn't built yet. Everything had to go down the Rainy River and up to Lake of the Woods and then for sale. And it wasn't really possible to make any kind of a living for a single man.
Right.
And just at that time, gold fever struck northwestern Ontario.
Oh.
Yes, there was 3 big mines in Kenora. The Sultana was the biggest. And they also had a smelting mill in Kenora. And he thought, I'm going to go and find me a gold mine. So he went around the country. He became a trapper. He went around the country, and this land that White Otter Lake, just happened to be along the watershed that flows into Rainy River, or rather Rainy Lake.
Okay.
And he found this magical spot. It was really a magical spot. You have to go there to understand that here he was on a cobblestone beach, and it ran way out, and there was a sand ledge at the very end, at the very tip, and then it came around high rocks as you came from Nora Lake into White Otter. And he saw that there was a whole bunch of red pine growing there, and he knew how to build with logs because That's what he had done in Emo.
Mm-hmm.
So you notice the center part of the building is kind of barn-shaped. And this slant roof spot is the kind of house that people who came to this country and built their farms, that's what they had, a slant roof building.
Right.
And so you see his slant roof building and his barn joined together, and then the tower. And the tower, that's why Bill Houston called his song The King of White Otter Lake. He was the king overlooking his kingdom.
Aha.
That's a lovely song.
It is a lovely song. It is indeed. And so how old was Jimmy when he was building this cabin? So he was doing this all by himself?
He was in his 60s.
In his 60s?
Yeah.
I'm in my 60s. I can't imagine. Handling big red pine logs and away you go, eh?
He was a stubborn Scot, all right. And he wasn't big. He was about 5'8". And how he raised those logs is anybody's guess. A relative named Jimmy McHugh came to visit, and my husband and I brought him out to the castle. And he walked around, he was an engineer. He walked around it several times, and he said, I still can't figure out how he got those logs up there.
Oh my gosh. So along with the book the small booklet, I guess, you put out about the White Otter Castle, there's also a DVD, I think, that's been created.
Yes, that film was brought out in the early 1980s. It premiered at the university. We had to have 2 showings because so many people turned out to see it. That was a great, the producer was Peter Elliott, and his wife Kathy was a musician. She performed a special song, musical song, instrumental. She made it up just for this event.
Oh, terrific. And
it was really mind-boggling to see so many people interested in it, and the applause. It was incredible. Of course, he did a beautiful job. And so once the film, which was on DVD, which was on
the actual film in the old days.
Yeah, and he put it out on a DVD so that people could watch it any time.
Okay, and I understand that's still available, that DVD?
Yes.
And how can people get a copy if they're interested?
They can contact me. I live in Thunder Bay.
And we'll put some contact information at the bottom of the screen so people can contact you directly. We're just going to take a short break. Please stay with us and we'll be right back.